Alrighty, Mr. Gatekeeper here. Finishing up a fairly unique amplifier here. It's a one transistor bass amp, but utilizing a new, well, not new, but an old school new to me type of circuit. Let me turn this light out here. I think that's kind of missing. There we go. A little dark there, but basically this is a tuned circuit one transistor amp, a tuned circuit one Toshiba 2879 amplifier, regulated AB biased. This is the first regulated AB biased amp I have produced. Had a lot of help from Mr. RF Man on this one, no doubt about it. Major shout out to you, Mr. RF Man. Wouldn't have got this thing done without you, man. You know that. But basically what I'm going to be doing now is setting the bias current, which plays hand in hand with the bias voltage. But we're basically going to set this thing to right at 100 milliamps, right there at the AB bias mode. If I wanted to B bias this joker, I'd put it down about let's see, I think it's about half of that. I think about 0.5 milliamps, 50 milliamps. But we're going to be doing this at 100 milliamps. Okay. Basically, I'd already tuned it to another supply when this circuit was in testing. And now that it's in the box and everything's hooked up and we got an unregulated supply, and we got the regulation part to it right here. Go ahead and flip her on. And if you see, we are sitting out there about 140 milliamps, which is way too high. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me get my screwdriver here and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Took me a second. Alright. Be real careful here. Let's get this thing turned down to about 100 milliamps. There we go. Almost there. Making sure to do this real carefully. There we go. I'm going to leave it right there. That's right on the money. Right on the money. Alright, we got this thing, got the bias set, so I'm going to unhook that and resolder and go ahead and solder the final connection, which is a power wire from here to there. 100 milliamps, AB bias. This bad boy's ready to go. We'll get this thing tuned out and hope everything goes well with it. Tuned circuit one transistor amp. This bad boy should be able to give me more power than I've ever been able to make out of a single transistor setup. Old Gatekeeper out here around the northeast end of Georgia. We'll be back. Wait, just to add to that, to show you the Ohm's law characteristic, because up to now y'all have seen me showing bias voltage, basically adjusting every, Texas stars and whatnot to .68 volts on the mark. All right. Pulling right there about 100 milliamps, which is right there ideal for a 2879 device. All right. We are floating 18.62 volts with this supply. Okay. on the regulator here, we're on 11.76 volts. Okay, so that's our primary voltage we are working with at 11.76 volts. All right, that's just what this meter is showing. That voltage is going to remain the same even under key. All right, so with that matter doing that, this is the voltage that we have on the base of the transistor. Is turning the transistor on. 0.64, 0.65 volts. And the reason why it's that, because of the voltage we are actually working, our source voltage is not 13.8, 14 volts. If it was 13.8, 14, you would see that about 0.68. So right around there. So 0.65 volts. That's what we're working with the source voltage. Bumping that down to that to pull right there 100 milliamps. And as this thing does heat up, of course the amperage will be pulling a little bit more on the base. But to help compensate that, this thing is on a humongous heatsink for its size. And it will have forced air going through it as well. So this thing should make a beautiful driver. This will match up well for you, brother. A linear driver going into your linear driver, going into, hey, we won't say no more. We're gone. Bye-bye. We'll be back. All right, all done. Get your one pill base done, brother. Plug in the wall. It's going to be a driver for, I believe, a 500Z box. And it'll make a great driver for it, man. This is an AB biased one transistor plug in the wall base amplifier with a new approach that I have not yet tried yet. And it is a tuned circuit design. A one transistor tuned circuit design. And for it being the first time that I've attempted this circuit, with the dramatic help of Mr. RF Man, I say it worked out pretty good. Get some of this stuff out of the way here. All right, let me go ahead and let you see what it's doing. We got just a 4-watt radio hooked up to it. Go ahead and demonstrate that now for you. Go ahead and turn this around. It's about a 1-watt dead key. We're looking at the bottom scale where it says the 10. I can get it focused there. So in between the 20 and 0 is 10 watts. Okay. Excuse me, 1 watt. I'm sorry about that. That's 1 watt. A little bit under 1 watt. Oh yeah, 4 watts. 40 is 4 watts. So the 100 will be 10 watts. 10 watt slug. Oh yeah. There you go. So we're going to be putting about 4 watts drive into this bad boy. Turn that back around for reflect. All right. I meant to change this slug around real quick. Well, actually, you know what? We'll show the 250 slug first. The slug I had in it. I put the 1,000 in last. You know, we got 250 watt slug. Okay. So we're looking at the top scale. And some, there we go. So pretty much that 5 is going to be 50 watts and the 100, the 10 is going to be 100 watts. All right, we're on RMS first. Got the variable all the way open. Good low dead key. Go. That's right there, about 30 RMS, maybe a little bit under. Here's your peak. Go. 30 RMS. 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 30 right there at 100 watts. Go, just a tad bit under. All right, we're gonna give it just a little bit more drive and double our input over to 8 watts RMS drive. Oh, I always do this. Let me unplug this back up. I forgot to show you the input reflect. Alright. Here's your input reflect. Do ya. Good match. Alright, let's go ahead and take that off and hook up the 8 bird watt radio. So we're just going to be doubling our input drive now from 4 watts to 8. Turn that off, that on. Alright. It's right there, a little under 50 watts RMS, which is doing real well. Here's your peak. Right there at about 100 watts. Alright. So this ain't made to make this this one pill, you know, do something crazy dramatic, because he needs pretty much about 100 watts and to be able to turn it down too from there to drive his 500Z box. I put the 1000 watt slug in just for the heck of it to get 2 different looks there on the 1000 watt slug. Looking at the bottom scale there. Yeah, real close there, right there, a little bit over 100 watts. Alright, let's go ahead and take the tins off and show you the inside. I got you a little ground lug there, man, if you want to hook up an earth ground on there. Regulated AB bias. This is my first, actually this is my first regulated AB bias job. There's the regulator for the AB. Take a look at that, no transformers. And a lot of you's probably gonna ask, what's those trimmers in there for, Gatekeeper? I thought you always take your trimmers out. Well, yeah, you're right, I do. But on a tuned circuit design like this, see, this amplifier is no longer a broad banded amplifier, okay? This is a tuned circuit design, and it's really narrow banded. And I'll tell you what, it's super hard to get them trimmers mic'd in the capacitors. I mean, you can get them where it shows identical, which I did. I tried it 3 or 4 times, and you try to put fixed capacitors in and it's off. It's that's why you'll see pretty much every tuned circuit design in HF. Now I've seen some VHF and stuff to where they'll have fixed capacitors, but every time you see an HF tuned circuit design like this, you'll notice they will have trimmers in there. And I am going to put a little bit of glue on each head just to make sure they don't get turned or anything, you know. But there it is right there. It is what it is. See if I can't move this line a little bit right here. This is a design that I'm going to be playing with a little bit more from this point on, because it does interest me. This is pretty much good to do with 1 transistor. You can do it with 2, but for sure after that it's just not an efficient way to do it. But we got 100 milliamps on the base of the transistor, so she is AB bias conduction. We got it on a real good size heat sink, so she should stay real good and cool for you, brother. And I hope this bad boy drives that 500Z box just nice, man. You sit here and adjust this thing down if you need to adjust your dead carrier or your output drive. It's going to pretty much adjust both. And there you go. And also on this fan right here, man, there's a little switch on the side of this fan. Where is it at? Right there. You can actually turn the LEDs off on this fan, so that's pretty neat. So if you ever want to turn them LEDs off for some reason, you can do it. So here you go, brother. You got a lot more to do, man. Everybody that's waiting, keep having that He-Man type patience, because we're gonna have a lot more time now. A lot more time now to work on all these nice builds and repairs, and we're gonna be pretty much hibernating out here, man, until we get all this stuff done. Old Gatekeeper right here around the northeast end of Georgia, 73rd. Bye-bye. And by the way, if this seems like something that you might want, give me a shout. We also got HG 2879s, 2290s, and 1446s on deck for sale. Just give me a holler. threemanpro@gmail.com or info@gatekeeperamps.com. Whichever email's fine. 73s to you. Old Gatekeeper, we clear.